Alpine Liquid Fertilizers is your full season crop fertility specialist from start to finish. Visit alpinepfl.com for more.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to Real Agriculture. In this report, we're going to look at the rapidly changing world of spray application technology. In January, I had a chance to talk to Dr. Lynn Sosnoskie at the Ontario Certified Crop Advisor annual meeting. Sosnoskie is an assistant professor at Cornell AgriTech in New York. She and her team have been working to evaluate a whirlwind of novel spraying technology. And to kick off the conversation, Sosnoskie, shares why she feels we need to rethink how we apply pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides.
Well, I think there's a lot of constraints on our continued use of herbicides in the way that we've been applying them. First and foremost, we have herbicide resistance. This is a growing problem. Right now, we have over 500 cases worldwide. Canada has 128 cases of herbicide resistance. Ontario itself has 41. So the way that we're using herbicides is we are selecting for the individuals that are resistant to those very products that we're reliant on. But there are shifting consumer preferences with respect to pesticide use. There is a desire for sustainability or perceived sustainability, and in many people's minds that means less chemical inputs. The use of herbicides can affect export market access, particularly if you want to ship fruits and vegetables or certain products to Europe where a product might not be allowed, or where residue limits differ from what we have here in North America. And then there's worker protection, there's crop safety, and then there's, frankly, the fact that we're not going to be getting new herbicides like we have previously. At one point in time, we had new releases on a regular basis, but we've reached a plateau with introductions. It's very expensive to bring a new pesticide from discovery to commercialization, and it takes a long time. And if we're not going to be able to use human labor because it is also in short supply, or it is becoming more expensive to use, then we need to think of a novel strategy. We need to think new ways of managing weeds, and some of that is looking at autonomous robotic technology, vision-guided spray technology, electrical weeding, laser weeding, etc.
I asked Dr. Sosnoskie to share her insights on the different types of weeding technology now available and where it fits on the farm. First up, electrical weeding.
So I'm actually really interested in electrical weeding. It's a non-selective tool, but it can be a very effective tool, and it can allow us to move very quickly through the field. There's a couple of different systems out there. People in North America might be familiar with the Weed Zapper, which is manufactured by Old School Manufacturing, where it's a generator that is powered by the PTO of a tractor. It charges a front-mounted bar, and you can use it in row crop commodities to basically control weeds that get above the crop canopy. They grow higher than the crop. They come into contact with that electrified bar, and then the flow of electricity generates heat, which causes cellular disruption, which can lead to plant wilting and death. So that's one strategy, and we know that it can be effective for eliminating some of those later season weeds. Maybe we don't always get yield benefits, particularly if we're coming in late, but we can improve harvest efficiency by controlling some of those standing weeds that are going to interfere with our combine movement. We might also be able to reduce seed production, seed viability, so we can use it as a tool for managing the seed bank. There's another system we're working with. It's called the Zaso ElectroHerb. Zaso is originally a Brazilian company. They've been acquired by a German company, and they're building electric weeders that can be used in tree and vine systems. And basically, we have applicators that are basically just sort of wiping electricity over the weeds that are underneath the crop canopy. And in our research trials in New York, in Oregon, and in California, we're finding this is a really effective tool for suppressing weeds, including perennial weeds, in our organic production systems.
We also discussed robot weeders and autonomous tool carriers. Sosnoskie likes the precision they bring to the field, but there's a lot to learn about where and how they fit.
Yeah, so we are looking at autonomous tool carriers. So these robots that are GPS guided with an RTK correction to give us the precision so we know where our rows are located and we're able to navigate within fields carrying either seeding implements where we can put a planter, attach them, and we can effectively seed a crop, or carrying weeding implements like sweeps, like finger weeders. So we can go in and we don't have to have a tractor out in the field, or we don't have to have a hand weeding crew out in the field. We can use these autonomous robotic tools to take over some of that non-selective mechanical activity. We have been doing some work in New York State, in Arkansas, and in New Jersey, looking at a small unit, the NIO-Oz, and we find it can be effective for weed suppression. But there's a lot that we need to learn, particularly me in New York State, about what are going to be the best tools that we can use in our different soil conditions, because we can go everywhere from a coastal plain down on Long Island to muck soils in central New York to very glaciated soils. So we can grow a lot of different crops, and we're still working with the NIO-Oz. We think it's small, it's affordable, it's nimble. How well can we use it? What kind of crop tool soil combinations are best for effective weed management?
There's been a lot of talk about swarms, sending a team of weeding robots into the field. Here, Sosnoskie discussed some of the technology that researchers are currently testing.
Yeah, so this is actually some exciting technology. Can we put some of these autonomous weeding robots together? Can they be talking to each other? Can they be connected to each other? And can they be deployed not as a single unit in a field, but as a swarm within a field to carry out either the same activity in different locations or different activities within a small concentrated area? And there are companies that are looking at being able to fluctuate, to use a single tool carrier by itself or to connect it to the other tool carriers and have it work in concert together, such as Swarm Farm Swarm Bots out of Australia. Dr. Yu Jiang at Cornell AgriTech and I are also seeing if we can use the Amiga tool carrying platform and build our own swarm technology using that as a base.
Sosnoskie also noted that AI-guided spraying technology has already found a home on the farm. John Deere's See and Spray program comes to mind here. She likes the precision and the performance it brings to the farm.
So the AI guided systems give us a level of precision and that we don't have necessarily with some of the other technologies. Being able to identify the crops, being able to identify the weeds, we're able to either put out a very small amount of herbicide, use a laser very precisely to control those unwanted plants, and sometimes very, very close to the crop plants themselves. Again, gives us a measure of efficacy, because when it comes to weeding, getting those weeds that are closest to the crop, that's the hardest task, whether we're doing it with cultivation, even if we're doing it with hand weeding, that's the hardest task. So it gives us that level of performance, it gives us that level of precision, while also giving us a measure of crop safety at the same time.
We wrapped up our conversation talking about laser weeding technology. It's efficient and expensive, but Sosnoskie says it delivers ROI for specific farming operations. Overall, she believes every sector of agriculture will find some value in new spraying technology.
So Carbon Robotics right now, they are the leader in the laser weeding sector. They're out of Seattle. They manufacture all of their units not very far from here in Detroit, Michigan. Again, they are a laser weeding leader. We have been very lucky to work with them to evaluate their technology here on the eastern half of North America. They have found most of their fit in western United States crop production system. So think Yuma Valley, think Imperial Valley, think Salinas, think Oregon and Washington State, where we're working with some of the highest of high value specialty crops. Think organic leafy lettuce. And I was able to see one of their units in operation out in California in an organic lettuce production system, and that company said that yes, the carbon robotics came with a price tag over $1.5 million US, but for them, again, in the highest of high value crops, they were finding a return on investment in 300 days. That's not going to be necessarily everyone's experience with any of the technology you apply, whether it's carbon robotics laser weeder, whether it's a $10,000 or $12,000 autonomous tool carrier. But finding the right tool for your operation is critical. And I think there can be return on investment. Some of that is going to be economic. Some of that is going to be potentially environmental sustainability. So we have to be thinking about what these units can bring system-wide to our agricultural production.